So this is something I do before every Monster Hunter game. I never want to feel like I've wasted any or valuable materials, so I always plan out what weapons I'm going to make. Most of the time I stick to it pretty well, but it's not like it's a strict ledger for me. I find until you get to the end game, you can drive yourself into a pretty deep hole if you make whatever weapons you have available, only to realize it costs insanely rare materials later, and unfortunately doesn't even end up being good. Since I'm doing this for myself, I figured I would share it with you all. Maybe you can find it useful too. Here's the catch. I do this veteran style. No math, no testing, just pure intuition knowing my own playstyle as a guide. If you want to know what the best weapons are, you'll have to find some other YouTuber because I won't sit here and calculate it out. I use a multi-approach system to determine what weapons I'm going to initially go for, as in the end I typically end up making everything anyway. First and foremost, look at attack and elemental values, followed by sharpness. I then take bonuses such as defense or affinity buffs into consideration, and finally ease of making the weapon, something no calculator can actually tell you. I never worry about weapon slots because I feel a good armor set should be able to be universally used with any weapon non-limiting. For status weapons it's even simpler, which has the highest status and sharpness. And for all you fashion hunters, move along and never pick a weapon based on looks. Function over fashion. Here's the disclaimer. Monster Hunter Generations isn't out yet, so I'm using Tyrannical database to do my shopping. That means that there may be some translation issues, as well as a lack of weapon tree information. I'm going to do my best to not include any DLC weapons or endgame ultimate weapons, created by tickets in every upgrade. I'm also going to exclude any rust weapons here. If you find a rust weapon, just make it. They're all amazing, but more importantly, they're based on luck of finding one, so it's really not right to put it on the list. My list contains 1 to 2 top picks for each element for each weapon type. I like to give myself a little flexibility in case I'm not having any luck with monster drops. I've also got a few honorable mentions of weapons that maybe didn't make the cut here, but are definitely worthy of crafting your first round through. So let's get into it. So this isn't a very difficult choice. Wrathlord Gleamsword is going to be the best chance with 190 damage and 56 fire and some really decent sharpness. Of course, my second choice is going to have to be Dino Claymore R. 210 damage and 36 fire with, again, some pretty hefty sharpness there, with sharpness +1 makes it a good contender. Crimson Goat is going to be another good bet if you're having difficulty making either of those. 180 damage is a little low, with 60 fire is really high, and 20 defense, although the sharpness could be a little bit better. Really the only two that stand out here are Despot's Blackstorm and King Thundersword. Both of them have over 40 thunder and pretty decent sharpness. You're going to be fine going with either one. Honestly, your only option here is Lagonda Charlotte. It's got pretty decent attack, high ice, decent sharpness, and it's going to be really easy to make. This was a pretty difficult decision, simply because there are so many good options. Plus, Aqua Blade is definitely my top choice, because it's easy to make, has high sharpness, really high water, and pretty decent attack. Violet Arcane is my second, with higher attack, slightly lower water, but you do get a affinity bonus, and definitely better sharpness. However, Thrashgash Blade is really high water, definitely suffers in the attack area, but you could alter the sharpness a little bit if you had some different skills in there, and of course you get the benefit of 2 slots. Depending on your armor set, which I hate to say in videos like this, you can make any of these work for you. Good dragon weapons typically don't come until the end of the game, and Greatsword is no exception. Doomedge Fronting, the Joe weapon, is definitely my top choice with 180 damage, which is a little low, but an insanely high 60 dragon. It's also got decent sharpness, and 1 slot if you want to argue that. My second choice is really going to be Elytron Revolution, simply due to the sharpness and second highest dragon damage. Of course, the Leclat is a good option with 160 low damage with a really good affinity, decent dragon, and decent sharpness. But honestly, you're going to use a lot of materials making all the Gormagala weapons, so I might stay away from that until the end. I don't really think I need to explain this to you. You really don't win here. Amber Serpent Fang is maybe my top choice simply because it has decent para and better sharpness than Curse of Cat, but really, I wouldn't waste my time with any of these. Oddly enough, Poison Serpent Blade is your best choice here. It's got insane poison, mid-range damage, mildly decent sharpness, 1 slot to boot, and it's going to be stupid easy to make. Your next best option is Amina Shamshir, the Chameleos weapon, and if you're not happy with that, I would go with Chrome Deathrazor. These are always the most difficult to choose because honestly it's based a lot around your set, which I hate to say because I'm looking for one of the best well-rounded weapons equipped for all sets. The Narga weapons are always good, but you're going to run out of monster parts if you make all of them, so here's a few alternatives. Judgment has one of the highest attacks of greatswords in the game, and you can max out a sharpness with white with the right set. My second choice is going to be Crimson Wall, with 240 attack, 40 defense, and again, the possibility for white sharpness. I think either of these is going to be a great choice.